Oh hi, I didn't see you there. What's going on, you guys? It is our Ultimate Sage 66 here, and welcome to the very first review on the channel. Now, you may be wondering, why am I wearing these shades? Well, besides for only being $5 at the flea market, I thought they literally looked like Dr. Eggman's glasses. Well, now that I look at it, they're a little too big, but how the royal blue or the dark blue, whatever kind of blue this is, it just reminds me of Dr. Eggman's glasses. But in all seriousness, welcome to the very first review on the channel. Besides from the Nintendo Switch, this is actually going to be a video game that I actually hold dear to myself because it was something that I grew up with. It's what made me fall in love with the series in general. So now with me being nostalgic towards it, I'm not going to just dick ride or anything. I'm going to be fair. I'm going to tell you my thoughts, the negatives, the positives, everything that I feel about this game, and try to be at least as fair as possible, because that's the whole point of this review. It's supposed to be my point of view, but as an adult now, because this was years ago when I played this game. So without a further ado, let's begin the review of Sonic Adventure DX Director's Cut. Growing up, I never knew of neither the Dreamcast or Sonic Adventure because I grew up without cable, and I never seen any advertisements for either the system nor the game. It was PBS Kids or good old Bob Ross in the morning for me when I was getting ready for school. Watching all the commercials for Sonic Adventure for the Dreamcast, there's actually one commercial that would have made me definitely beg my mom to buy this console and this game for me.
Oh yeah, I'm feeling the love.
You feel the glove, love? But what's your name?
Gary Payton, but they call me the glove.
How you feeling tonight?
Yo, I'm feeling the love.
Feel the love, glove?
Sonic! Yo, Sonic! Man, stay off the light speed.
My bad.
Sonic Adventure on Sega Dreamcast. It's thinking.
It's like seeing Sonic doing that chest pound is like, my bad. Like, it just works with my inner blackness. I know it might sound racist, but how the fact that Sonic is actually talking, you know, trying to be hip within dealing with the late 90s, early 2000s, like, that definitely would have made me beg my mom, like, buy this game, please. I need it. Sonic is like, he's freaking cool. Please buy this game for me. But one summer day, when I was 9 or 10, my mom walked into the apartment and BAM! A new game system, or the Nintendo Gamecube, and a brand new game. And that game was Star Fox Adventure. Alright, let me stop. Of course, it was Sonic Adventure DX Director's Cut. Anyways, I didn't waste a second popping the game in after jumping and hugging my mom, saying thank you 100 times a second, of course. Then, the very first thing that caught my attention was the menu screen. Hearing that electric guitar blazing, seeing Sonic in a different design and in a cool pose, the background moving and the title sliding in from the side. Just pure nostalgia every time I see that menu. Of course, we can't have a Sonic game without Sonic being playable from the start. But we also have 2 returning characters, 3 new playable characters, which most people despise with their whole being, and a brand new antagonist. In total of 6 stories with each of their own objectives and different gameplay styles, along with new abilities and items to boot. Alright, let's summarize each character's story, starting off with the Bluebird himself, Sonic. Sonic, trying to practice his parkour for the future, sees that the police is in a bit of a scurry and decides to check it out. The police eventually corner the creature, aka Chaos, just standing around minding his own business. They decide to shoot it because they wanted to get paid for protecting the city. Seeing that the bullets don't work, they decide to haul ass out of there. Sonic shows up and you know how it goes from there.
Hey, I'll play with you some other time.
Eggman then shows up saying that Chaos is literally a god of destruction. Why wasn't Chaos with Beerus and the other gods when they were having the Tournament of Power in Dragon Ball Super? Okay, back to the story. Sonic eventually comes across Tails with the Chaos Ceremony he was going to use to test his prototype plane he was trying to make.
Supercharge!
And now, the duo are off on another adventure. They stop to Tails' workshop just for Eggman just to tell them that he's going to take over the world and they shouldn't interfere with his plans yet again. Eventually leading them to fight, of course, with Sonic winning. Then Tails, for some dumb reason, decides to walk with the Chaos Emerald in his hands, allowing Eggman to snatch it from his gloved hands. Then feeding said Chaos Emerald to Chaos and explaining that he gets powerful with each emerald that he absorbs. Then Eggman does a Sheik move and vanishes in a blinding white light. Sonic and Tails now have a new objective, to collect the Chaos Emeralds before Dr. Eggman, but the thing is, things don't go as planned. Eggman lets Sonic and Tails do the dirty work for him. Eventually, Knuckles comes across the duo, fighting Sonic because he was fooled by Eggman yet again, and in doing so allows Eggman to snatch up the Chaos Emeralds and power up Chaos once again. Another fight with Chaos commences, but Sonic was able to defeat Chaos again while Eggman decides to retreat to the egg carrier. Sonic and Tails then chase after him in the tornado, but wind up getting shot down and separated. Sonic then comes across Amy with her little bird friend, but they wind up being kidnapped by one of Eggman's robots, Zero, and Sonic begins his chase to save Amy, but Amy is then taken to the egg carrier. Sonic and Tails reunite with Tails' new Tornado 2, that is supercharged by Chaos Emerald. Another dogfight takes place, but with Sonic and Tails finally landing on the Defying Fortress. Now Sonic and Tails have to make it onto the other side of the ship in order to find Eggman and save Amy. They then come across and fight E-102 Gamma. While trying to land the finishing blow, Amy intervenes and says Gamma actually helped her escape. The egg carrier then starts moving altitude. Sonic tells Tails and Amy to get off the ship right before he runs off after Eggman. Eggman then powers up Chaos to his 6th form, hoping the beast could destroy Sonic. Then Big appears saying that his best friend Froggy is within Chaos, and of course Sonic says he'll help save Froggy and defeat Chaos. Having his main weapon defeated, Eggman decides to abandon ship, with Sonic right behind him. After falling, Sonic lands into the Mystic Ruins, where he eventually finds a mirror of Chaos in his true form, and sees the destruction that he caused in the past. Sonic then heads to Eggman's base in order to have the final battle within his story. One-on-one, villain versus hero, man versus Blue Hedgehog, or should I say, scientist versus Blue Hedgehog. Sonic defeats Eggman and then roll the montage and credits along with Sonic's theme music. Sonic's story is of course the longest and can be basically summed up as Sonic just trying to defeat Eggman like he always does. Tails' story is basically the same as Sonic's, but instead with a little confidence booster thrown in at the end. Eventually Tails and Sonic get separated, and while unconscious we get to see a small glimpse of Tails' dream of the past and how much he changed ever since he became friends with Sonic. Realizing that the tornado wasn't powerful enough, Tails then proceeds with his prototype plane and builds the Tornado 2 that is supercharged. Tails finds Sonic and they continue to chase after Eggman. After the fight with Gamma, Tails and Amy make it to Station Square with Eggman crashing there as well. With his plans ruined, Eggman decides to blow up Station Square with a missile, which turns out to be a dud. Tails then races Eggman to the missile to make sure that he doesn't detonate it. With no other choice, Eggman then pulls a last-ditch effort and decides to battle it out against Tails, with his nerves being shaken to the core. Tails then talks himself out of the fear that he has and fights Eggman all alone, coming out as the victor. Even though most of Tails' story was similar to Sonic's, at the end, Tails shows himself and the world that he isn't a child anymore. He doesn't have to rely on Sonic. All he has to do is believe in himself. Tails has grown more mature and self-confident, showing that he's growing as a character. Knuckles' story starts off with what Knuckles does best, guarding the Master Emerald on the floating Angel Island, contemplating on why is it his fate to protect the Master Emerald forever, then Chaos appears with a now shattered Master Emerald, which Knuckles sees as Chaos being the cause of the shattering. Knuckles tries to fight Chaos, but after a good smack on Knuckles, Chaos then takes off for the now falling Angel Island. Now Knuckles makes it his goal to gather the Master Emerald pieces and restore the Angel Island to its floating glory. During his adventures, Knuckles starts to see fragments of visions of his ancestors when gathering a few pieces of the Master Emerald. Knuckles then sees Eggman, assuming that he was carrying a piece of the Master Emerald, just to find out that it was just a Chaos Emerald, eventually leading to a fight with Second Chaos. Eggman then somehow tricks Knuckles into believing that Sonic was also after the Master Emerald pieces, which eventually leads to Knuckles and Sonic facing off. Sonic then tells Knuckles that he was hoodwinked again and takes off. But Chaos comes back for a second round, and now Knuckles and Chaos face off. Knuckles then gathers more pieces of the Master Emerald and sees one more vision of the past. With only a few pieces missing, the Master Emerald shows Knuckles the remaining pieces and their location on their egg carrier. Wait, if the Master Emerald could show Knuckles where their other pieces are, why didn't it ever try to show Knuckles what happened to his family that survived Chaos' rampage? I'm thinking too much. With the final pieces with him, Knuckles decides to make his exit, then sees Sonic facing off against Chaos 6 to eventually be defeated. Chaos then returns for another round, but against Knuckles. The two duke it out, with Knuckles being the winner. He then takes the Chaos Emeralds with him to Angel Island and finally restores the Master Emerald to its complete state, ending his story the way it started off, with Knuckles wondering why he has to protect the Master Emerald, but being fine without his questions being answered. Honestly, this would have been a perfect opportunity for us to learn a whole lot more about Knuckles, his upbringings, his ancestry, everything, giving both us the gamer and Knuckles the answer to the question that he's been asking ever since the start of his story. But instead, Sega just leaves us with more questions on the Echidna's clan history and the Master Emerald. Amy's story starts off with her walking from the store after shopping for her house or apartment. Actually, that's a good question. Does Amy live alone? She's 12. How does she afford that shit? Anyways, she begins to daydream about Sonic, and then out of nowhere, a baby bird hits her in the face while trying to escape from Zero, one of Eggman robot minions, basically shoving Amy into the story. Amy then runs into Sonic, asking him to protect the baby bird because Sonic's the hero. But eventually, Amy and the bird finally get captured by Zero and take it to the egg carrier. After getting captured, she's confronted by Gamma, who was sent to retrieve the bird. Of course, Amy refuses and shows the power of love and compassion to anyone that needs help. Gamma then releases Amy to escape, just to be caught by Eggman, who wanted the Chaos Emerald inside the baby bird's pendant. Eggman then gives the orders to Gamma to take out Sonic, but winds up losing. Amy then intervenes with Sonic's final attack against Gamma, and saves him, showing her the love and compassion she showed the baby bird. Amy and Tails then escape from the falling egg carrier back into Station Square. Amy then sees the baby bird has a family in her pendant and decides to help the baby bird find her family. They start off with Eggman's base, but to no avail. Amy then decides to look into the fallen egg carrier. They finally find the bird's family, but then she's attacked by Zero. Amy gets hella pissed off and defeats Zero on her own. The baby bird is fine though, and the family of birds finally fly off, with Amy feeling accomplished about herself and her deed. Amy's story is the shortest, and her story is somewhat similar to Tails. I say somewhat because they both get more self-confidence within themselves, but the story is mainly about the baby bird, and just Amy being the voice of the bird and herself, and protecting the bird. Oh boy, here's the part that everyone loves to see being hated on. Big the cat. The first thing I thought as a kid, why is there fishing in a Sonic game? Oh well, I have to fish to beat the game, then so be it. Oh, how naive I was. Big and his best friend Froggy were sleeping, but then something falls out of the sky, waking Froggy in the process. Froggy then goes to check out the scene, just to have Chaos's tail jump inside his mouth. Big finally wakes up to see that his friend grows a tail and then swallows a Chaos Emerald, or that he calls his Lucky Charm, and runs away, beginning Big's adventure, or should I say, Big's big fishing adventure. Don't hate me, please. But you all know what happens here. Big proceeds to chase Froggy until he finally gets him back, and that's pretty much it. Aside from Froggy swallowing a bit of chaos and the Chaos Emerald, Big literally can be taken out of the story, and it won't affect anything what happens whatsoever. Nothing at all. Bye, Big. You don't need to be here. Last but not least, E102 Gamma. Gamma is the second build of the E100 series robots that Eggman built to serve him. Gamma is tested in the shooting range and against his older brother Beta, which he passes with flying colors. After clearing all the tests, Eggman then sends Gamma and the rest of the E100 series to capture Froggy, which is both Chaos's tail and the Chaos Emerald. Gamma then heads to Emerald Coast and swipes Froggy right out of Big's hands and returns to the egg carrier. Being the only one who successfully completed the mission, Gamma is praised while the others were just teleported away. Eggman then orders Gamma to retrieve the bird from Amy. While heading towards the two, he accidentally walks into another room where he sees his brother Beta being torn apart just to be upgraded. Gamma then confronts Amy, and it's the same thing that happened just like in Amy's story. He questions her emotion towards the bird and doesn't understand emotions of friendship to the point where he helps Amy escape. Gamma is then summoned to fight Sonic while Eggman gets away. But before they could fight, Amy intervenes and convinces Gamma that Eggman is the real bad guy and tells him that they're friends. Gamma then makes his escape off the egg carrier. While landing in the Mystic Ruins, Gamma then defies his programming deletes Eggman as his master, and makes it his own mission to set his other E100 series brethren free. And by free, I mean... After defeating the other E100 series, Gamma then realizes the only ones left to save were Beta and himself. Gamma and the newly upgraded Beta have a duel to see who truly is the strongest, with Gamma appearing to be the winner, but before blowing up, Beta lands a fatal hit on Gamma, ultimately leading to Gamma's death and setting the baby bird's mother free. As a kid, I didn't realize how emotional and dark Gamma's story was. From trying to be the best to serve his master without fail, to defying his master, to save his brothers so they can truly be free. Once you completed all the character stories, it is time for the secret Supersonic story. I always wonder, why is it a question mark? Most of us knew how Supersonic looked, so why not show him? Anyways, we open up to Angel Island, where Eggman is flat on his face on the ground because he couldn't control Chaos. Chaos then defeats Knuckles and steals the Chaos Emeralds, and just before Sonic and Tails can make it there on time. Sonic is then shown what happened in the past, dealing with Chaos and the destruction that he caused after wiping out the Echidna tribe. Chaos is now in his true final form after absorbing the negative energy from the Chaos Emeralds. Sonic is then visited by the mysterious light that showed him both the mural of Chaos and the destruction that he caused, and that light was none other than Tikal. Now that we know who the light was, let me shed some light on the other character stories. Every character is shown some type of vision of the past. I can see why Knuckles and Sonic were shown the past, but why were the rest of them? Tails, Amy, Big, and Gamma didn't even need to see what happened in the past at all. It doesn't make sense. Anyways, Tikal tells Sonic that the only way to defeat Chaos is to seal him back into the Master Emerald like she did in the past. But Sonic said with his heart filled with hatred and anger, it wouldn't just disappear, it wouldn't vanish. He would be trapped in there forever, being tormented by his own emotions. So Sonic decides to neutralize the negative energy of Chaos with the positive energy from the Chaos Emerald, which allows Sonic to become Supersonic. Sonic then beats some sense into Chaos, which finally calms him down and turns him back into his original state. To call on the child that Chaos used to protect all those years ago, sure, to reassure him that they're actually living peacefully with humans. After realizing everything will be fine, Tikal and Chaos vanish. With that in mind, this is the story of Sonic Adventure. Now with the story out of the way, let's begin with the gameplay styles and the item upgrades. With Sonic Adventure being Sonic's first true game into 3D, no, not including Sonic 3D Blast or Sonic Extreme, Sega did a very good first attempt at bringing Sonic in the game's moveset from the second dimension to the third dimension. In Sonic's story, you're heading towards the goal to either collect the Chaos Emerald or to pop open an animal capsule just like in the classics. Sonic's gameplay is basically the same just like it was back in the day, platforming and going fast. He starts from a jog to eventually running, which feels really smooth and has a good amount of speed, not taking 3 steps and already going ridiculously fast in a heartbeat. I'm talking about you, Sonic Unleashed and Sonic Generations. Sonic also has the spin dash and the spin jump. I honestly think this is the best example of a 3D spin dash compared to the future styles of spin dash like in Sonic Adventure 2 or Sonic Lost World. Replacing the famous instant shield, Sonic brings a technique called the homing attack. When Sonic jumps, you can hit the jump button again and Sonic will jump towards a nearby enemy or a spring. The first upgrade is the Light Speed Shoes, which surrounds Sonic in a blue crystal-like ore, which allows you to dash along a trail of rings. Also, it takes fucking 50 years to charge. Not to worry though, you eventually find the crystal ring, which shortens the charging time for the Light Speed Shoes. Last but not least, the Ancient Light. This allows you to use the Light Speed attack, in which you can charge up using the Light Speed dash, but now you can use it against enemies. Honestly, Sega could have just made the Light Speed Shoes like how they did in Sonic Adventure 2, but nope. I guess after they finished the game, they thought, the Light Speed Shoe takes forever to charge. I know, we could just shorten the time that it takes to charge. Nah, that'll take forever to program. I know, let's add another upgrade which will speed up the Light Speed Shoes. Brilliant! Let me stop. The Light Speed attack is pretty much useless unless you use it against Chaos 6. But if you use it in a stage, you will most likely die, and what else? Die some more! Like previously stated, Tails' gameplay involves him mainly racing against Sonic, but Tails' stages are half the length of Sonic stages because Tails' ability to fly. but instead of tapping the jump button repeatedly, you can hold it to make Tails fly higher, but he gets tired a lot faster as well. And when used properly, you can skip most of the stage. Literally, watch this clip right here. When attacking on the ground, Tails can use the tailspin attack. No, not the Toon Disney show where Baloo is a pilot. I love that show, by the way, especially the intro. Dun, 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 tailspin. But if Tails is running and you try to press the B button, Tails will just roll instead. Yep, just roll. While in the hub world with a bit of exploring, you can find a jet anklet, which makes Tails fly faster, and the rhythm badge can make Tails break dance while spinning his tails, like Killer Bee from Naruto Shippuden. Knuckles stages deal with searching for the 3 pieces of the Master Emerald in each stage, which makes Knuckles stages more like a small sandbox stage. Even though Knuckles' stages are boxed in, it doesn't mean that he isn't nimble as fast as he used to be in the classics. He can still run fast, use his dreads to glide, and climb up walls. What's cool is Knuckles can use his gloves for even more than just climbing. He can now actually punch enemies. In order to find the Master Emerald pieces, Sega gave us a radar to indicate the emerald's location. Green means it's close by, yellow means you're getting closer, red is you're right on it. In later stages you'll find that Master Emerald pieces will be hidden underground, and this is where Knuckles' first upgrade, the Shovel Claw, comes into play. It allows Knuckles to dig on the ground. Damn, now that I said Shovel Claw, I can hear Dan Green saying it from Sonic X.
Now, Shovel Claw!
Knuckles can also get the fighting gloves, which allows you to use the maximum heat Knuckles attack. Basically Knuckles' version of the light speed attack, but the gloves are ugly as fuck and it's pretty much useless, again, unless you're going against Chaos 6. Amy's objective is to reach the end of the goal to grab on the giant balloon to escape from Zero that will be chasing after you in each and every stage, and jump scaring you too for some freaking reason. As a kid running from Zero, to see his face on multiple screens just for him to just bust out of the screen scared the shit out of me. Amy's gameplay is just like a traditional platformer, except she's really slow. She can use her Pico hammer to attack enemies, but I mainly use it just to jump like I'm a gymnast to keep running from Zero. Once you play Whack-A-Sonic and beat the high score, Amy receives the Warrior Feather, which allows her to do the hammer spin attack. I do it just to get her dizzy, but besides from that, I don't really use the move at all. You do another round of Whack-A-Sonic, and you get the long hammer, which gives you more of an attack radius. Honestly, I never knew this existed until recently playing the game again for the footage for this video. For Amy's first playable debut, it really wasn't the best. I mean, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't that fun either. It was mediocre. Big's gameplay is fucking fishing. Big gets 3 lure power-ups, which allows him to catch bigger fish, the life belt, which allows you to fish in the water. You can literally be right beside Froggy, but you couldn't get him unless you fish for him, which is still fucking stupid. You can also get the power rod, which gives you
longer casting distance.
Either way, like I said before, Big doesn't belong in this game. Multiple people said it. Moving on. Gamma's gameplay style is just a shooter style. Gamma's the only character that has a time limit to his stage, which you have to blow up shit in order to gain more time to complete the stage. And at the end of each stage, Gamma faces off all against his brothers in order to defeat them and free them from Eggman's control. Gamma gets the jet booster, which allows him to float, which I don't know how, it literally floating behind his back. How does it hold against him? Gamma also receives the laser blaster, which destroys enemies in a wider pattern. Another power up I didn't know existed until today. Finally, we're almost done. Just a few more things to go before we end things off. And if you made it this far, I just want to say thank you. And I really appreciate all of you for making it this far, who've made it anyways. But now, let's start with the Child Garden. While playing the stories for each character, you can visit the Child Garden, the cute, adorable little creatures that Chaos used to guard centuries ago. Apparently, Chaos was a child himself. Sonic Retro states that having a constant exposure to the Master Emerald, Chaos was mutated to his current appearance, and took the role as the protector of the Emerald Shrine and his child brethren. I just keep learning more and more about this game while writing this script. You can raise them by feeding them fruit, giving them attributes and abilities from the little animals that you receive when you defeat enemies, and you can also pet them. You can also race your child. But truth be told, I don't find this version of the Child Garden that entertaining or fun at all. The real fun begins in the Child Garden in Sonic Adventure 2. With most of the positives of the game out of the way, let me just give a few more negatives on the things that I really didn't care for. The camera. Oh god, the camera is just terrible. You might be able to fix it in certain situations, but then there are times when the camera is just like, fuck you, with a big old middle finger in your face. The voice acting isn't the best either. I mean, half the time you can tell when the voice actors didn't know how to read the lines, so they just read it any way that they wanted.
Hey, Sonic!
This robot is my friend. He helped me.
Oh no.
Or else what, huh? Hey, Knuckles! What's up?
But besides the camera, the voice acting, Big the Cat stages, these are the only main problems that I really had and that I didn't care for about Sonic Adventure. I enjoyed most of the game. The characters, even majority of the story, the plot, the gameplay, everything else I feel is just really good for a game that came out in the late 90s. Wow, this video literally took so long for me to edit, make sure I get the words or saying of certain things right, and the clips and editing it took me forever to do. But I honestly am glad of the final product. I really enjoyed going back to the game again and finally being able to put it in a video format like every other YouTuber. I finally able to get it out, to let people see what I enjoy about it, what made me feel like I fell in love with the adventure series in general. Tell me down in the comment section below, why do you like Sonic Adventure or why do you dislike it? Besides from it's overrated. Give me an actual good reason of why you like it or dislike it. Anyways, you guys, tell me also in the comments what other game you would like me to review next. Anyways, you guys, this is our Ultimate Sage 626 here. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of y'all day, week, and whatnot. And I hope to see you paisanos in the next video.